But when you're winning in Illinois, you're happy to play by these rules.
Again, I've condemned all gerrymandering across the country. And in fact, when Democrats had a majority in Congress, they voted to ban gerrymandering in every state, red states and blue states. Do you know how many Republican members of Congress joined them in that effort?
Which one? I'm sorry. Which state did you just refer to?
I'm asking, do you know how many Republicans joined Democrats in the U.S. Congress to ban gerrymandering? All the Democrats voted for it. 0 Republicans voted for it. 0.
It's an odd.
So
it's an odd.
You can spare me the both sides rhetoric. It's clearly one side that is trying to rig the rules in the middle of the game. This is like 2 football teams coming out of the locker room at halftime, and the team that's ahead says they want to change the rules for the second half so they can win the game. All of us would be throwing food at the TV if that happened. We don't accept cheating in our politics. We don't accept cheating in our relationships. We shouldn't accept cheating in our elections.
You've done the same thing as us, and we are going to, by the way, if you do it, we're going to ratchet it up even more, in the words of Gavin Newsom.
My party has never gerrymandered in the middle of the decade at the request of the President of the United States, nor would we. The only way this is going to happen in blue states is if Texas executes this power grab. You mentioned Massachusetts. Do you know the party of the governor that signed that map into law? He was a Republican. It was a Republican governor that signed that map into law. So I just want to be clear with our facts, and I don't want to muddy the waters. All of us, whether we're Democrats, independents, or Republicans, we should stand up to politicians who don't want to face accountability at the ballot box. That's exactly what's happening here. And I asked you, if Republican policies are popular, why do they need to redraw these maps? Why can't they just run on their policies?
I'm getting wrapped on time. I'm enjoying this conversation. I want to let it go on, and I apologize. That's such is the nature of cable television.
When you look at this side-by-side comparison throughout the bill, it reads like a how-to guide in historical whitewashing. Are you aware that this new version of the bill from the Senate removes the writings of Frederick Douglass?
I am.
Are you aware that this new version of the bill from the Senate removes the writings of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.?
Yes.
Are you aware that this new version of the bill from the Senate removes the history of Native Americans?
The way the bill is laid out,
that's a yes or no question.
Because we were very clear that we could not be conclusive about every single document out there that we could. I'm going to give you an answer. This isn't a trial. I'm going to give you an answer.
Okay, I'm ready for the answer.
The way it's set out is so that a teacher can go to different documents and different authors by which to teach from. It's by no means meant to be a conclusive list.
Let me just ask you one more time. Are you aware that this new version of the bill from the Senate removes the history of Native Americans? It's on page 3 of the side-by-side if you don't have it in front of you.
Then I believe you.
Okay. Are you aware that this new version of the bill removes mentions of Cesar Chavez?
Yes.
Are you aware that this new version of the bill removes mentions of Susan B. Anthony?
Yes, I am.
Yet the new version of the bill from the Senate, this is not the bill we all passed as a House, but the Senate's version, it still includes the writings of Alexis de Tocqueville, and he's not even an American. Could that be because he's a white man?
Not exactly.
So to be a school counselor in Texas, you have to have a master's degree. Does your bill require chaplains to have a master's degree?
No.
To be a school counselor in Texas, you have to teach in a classroom for 2 years. Does your bill require a chaplain to teach in a classroom for 2 years?
No, sir.
Does your bill specify any qualifications for chaplains serving in our schools?
I don't think there's any specific qualifications. I trust our school districts to spell out what qualifications they would require and make those decisions.
Does your bill define what a chaplain is?
I believe it does. Does the bill? I'm looking at it. I mean, it's chaplains are defined in many areas of our government. They serve in our armed forces. They serve in TDCJ, Health and Human Services. There's a lot of places that they serve, and they have specific training as to not force religion on people, but to be good listeners, good support people. And
I'm glad, Representative Hefner, you brought that up. Is it correct that the Senate stripped our House amendment requiring that any chaplains in our schools come from an organization endorsed by the Department of Defense, the TDCJ, or the Federal Bureau of Prisons?
It is accurate to say that they stripped that amendment,
So
which
now,
we accepted, and then you voted against the bill after we accepted your amendment.
so now anyone could call themselves a chaplain and provide these services in our schools?
Do what now?
So now that that amendment has been stripped, anyone could call themselves a chaplain and provide these services in our schools?
I mean, I'm not advised on how that would be defined.
Elon Musk is a Texas resident, so would he theoretically be eligible to apply for these funds?
Yes.
It was just announced that Elon has fathered his 14th child. I looked into this, 8 of them are under school age. So let's say he gets a voucher for each of those 8 children. That's over $80,000 a year in taxpayer funds, more than what most teachers make. And so if he sent them to a private school from pre-K to senior year, that's a total of $1.2 million in taxpayer funds for Elon Musk.
I mean, anyone's eligible. But
Mr.
I'll tell you
Chairman,
what-
you're the author of this bill.
Yeah, I
you
am.
could limit it to middle class and working class families if you wanted to, but you are allowing, I know Elon Musk is a somewhat humorous example, but wealthy parents, whether they're the richest man in the world or whether they're just a family making over $500,000 a year, they have access to this program.
Elon Musk is not in the committee substitute, but
So let's-
you can keep asking.
When you look at Florida, 70% of the users of their voucher program were people who already had their kids in private school. In Arkansas, it was 95%. And so my concern is that if this plays out like I think it will, you're actually going to be taking the tax dollars of plumbers and nurses and working people, and you're going to be subsidizing the tuition of wealthy families who already have their kids at St. John's, St. Mark's, St. Stephen's. So that is a transfer of wealth from the bottom to the top. I know the rhetoric around this bill is around helping working class people or helping poor kids, but your bill does not match the rhetoric. Your bill is opening the door to some of the wealthiest people in the state taking taxpayer funds to do something they're paying for anyway. What is the 4th commandment?
Keep the Sabbath.
Part of keeping the Sabbath holy is not working on the Sabbath.
That is, yeah,
What day is the Jewish Sabbath?
it is on Saturday.
And what day is it today?
It is Saturday. Here we are.
The Christian Sabbath is what day?
Sunday in honor of the day that Jesus rose from the dead.
And we're scheduled to give this bill a final vote on what day of the week?
It's ironic, isn't it?
Would you be willing to postpone your bill so that we're not breaking the 10 Commandments by working on the Jewish or Christian Sabbath?
I love that you said that because
You're saying that you'd rather tell people to follow the 10 Commandments than follow it yourself?
I would have rather have had this bill passed the other day when it was time.
We as a legislature are about to force every teacher in the state to post the 10 Commandments in their classrooms.
If
Do
they are
members
donated.
of the Texas legislature follow the 10 Commandments?
So again, this bill is about honoring our historical, educational, and judicial heritage with the displaying of the 10 Commandments.
The 9th commandment is thou shalt not bear false witness. Are you aware of any legislators who have lied about anything?
That is, there might be one coming up in a minute if you keep talking. We'll see.
The 7th commandment is thou shalt not commit adultery.
Yes?
Do you think that members of the legislature should focus more on trying to follow the 10 commandments rather than telling others to follow them?
Maybe they didn't have them posted. It is incumbent on all of us to follow God's law.
If we pass your bill, could Romeo and Juliet be banned because it mentions premarital sex, which someone might find, quote, against their local community values?
There may be some. There may be some that, whether their own individual value system or their religious beliefs, that could believe that.
If your answer to could Romeo and Juliet be banned, if your answer is anything other than of course not,
then that's a serious problem.
I'm not advised on Romeo and Juliet.
Do you think prostitution is profane and inconsistent with community values?
I think that prostitution could be relayed in the context of whatever the work is before us in terms of a work of literature or content.
Under the language of your bill, profane and inconsistent with community values, Lonesome Dove, my favorite book, a Texas classic, could be banned because it includes references to prostitution in the Old West. Is that correct?
The community values or community standards of an individual community would dictate that.
So it is possible.
And again, it's possible. But
do you think the F word is grossly offensive language?
I do.
Under the language of your bill, The Catcher in the Rye, an American classic, could be banned because it includes more than 300 curse words, including the F word.
That could happen, yes.
That classic work of literature could be removed from libraries if we pass this bill.
Well, I think we're closing the door to some of the filth that we have heard read before our committee over the last two sessions.
We're not removing filth under your bill. We're removing Romeo and Juliet, which I don't consider filth. Yeah.
Well,
we're removing Lonesome Dove, which I don't consider filth. Things like Romeo and Juliet and Lonesome Dove and The Catcher in the Rye will be removed from school libraries because the definitions are overly broad. Can you name a school where it has been confirmed that students are using litter boxes?
Well, what we do with this bill is we prevent that from happening, but what we don't take out.
Can you name a school where it has been confirmed that students are using litter boxes? This was at the top of your press release. This was mentioned when you introduced this bill, created quite a stir. So I'm asking, can you name a school where it's been confirmed that there are litter boxes being provided to students?
For this purpose, no, I cannot.
Your tweet about this bill was flagged by the app itself under their community notes, and their fact check said, sensationalist claims about furries literally behaving as animals and receiving accommodations such as litter boxes have been repeatedly debunked as hoaxes. Is that correct?
It was flagged on, community notes?
Okay. I find it concerning that these types of debunked conspiracy theories are being used by politicians at the highest levels of our government, including in this legislature, who know that they're incorrect. Are you aware that Governor Abbott said, quote, kids go to school dressed up as cats with litter boxes in their classrooms?
Sure.
Are you also aware that when the governor was asked by the Dallas Morning News to name a single school where this happened, he couldn't? And PolitiFact called this a pants on fire false claim started by online rumors?
Okay.
Do you think it's a good use of our time to write laws based on debunked internet conspiracy theories?
Well, this isn't, this piece of legislation before us covers that among other things that are true.